When I pulled into my driveway at 6:45 on a Tuesday evening, I noticed my daughter-in-law's white Range Rover parked next to my son's truck. That was strange. They never visited on weekdays. Then I saw my brother's silver sedan and my 79-year-old mother's old Buick. 4 cars, 4 people who rarely spent time together unless it was Thanksgiving. Something cold settled in my stomach before I even opened the front door. The moment I stepped inside, I heard voices coming from my study. My study. The room where I kept my files, my documents, my entire financial life organized in cabinets I had spent 30 years filling. I set down my purse and walked toward the sound. They were all there. My son Kevin, 38, sitting behind my desk like he owned it. His wife Brittany, perched on the arm of my leather chair, scrolling through her phone. My younger brother Ronald, 64, standing by the window with his arms crossed. And my mother, Eleanor, seated in the corner with her hands folded in her lap, looking everywhere except at me. Kevin looked up first. His expression wasn't surprise. It wasn't guilt. It was impatience. "Mom," he said, "we've been waiting for over an hour. Where were you?" I stared at him. I had just come from a board meeting at the foundation I had started 15 years ago, the one that provided scholarships to first-generation college students from rural Texas. I was 67 years
Welcome
old,
back.
and I
Today,
had
I want to
spent
tell you about the
41
time
years
I
building a
traveled to
commercial
Thailand
real
and
estate
experienced
empire
something
from
truly
nothing.
magical.
I had started with
remember
one
standing on
small
the
strip
beach
mall in Austin when I was 26, borrowed money from a bank that didn't want to lend to a woman, and turned it into a portfolio worth over $40 million. And now my son was sitting in my chair, asking me where I had been. "I had a meeting," I said. "What's going on? Why is everyone here?" "We need to talk," Kevin said. He gestured to the chair across from the desk. My own chair, in my own study, and he was telling me where to sit. I didn't move. I looked at the desk instead. Papers were spread across it, legal documents. I could see the letterhead from where I stood. Morrison and Associates. That was a law firm in Dallas. I didn't use lawyers in Dallas. "What are those?" I asked. "Just sit down, Mom." Brittany said it like she was talking to a child. "We're trying to help you." "Help me with what?" Ronald finally spoke. He had always been the peacemaker in our family, the one who smoothed things over and avoided conflict. "Helen," he said, using my name in that careful way people do when they're about to deliver bad news. "We've all been worried about you. You've been forgetting things. Missing appointments. You left your car running in the garage last week. I left my car running once because I got a phone call about a burst pipe at one of my properties, and I rushed inside to handle it. I forgot to turn off the engine. It happens." "It's not just that," Kevin said. "You've been confused lately, repeating yourself, losing track of conversations. We think." He paused and looked at Brittany. She nodded at him like she was giving him permission. "We think you might be showing early signs of dementia." The word hit me like a slap. Dementia. I had a master's degree in business administration. I managed 12 commercial properties across 3 states. I served on 4 nonprofit boards. I had just negotiated a lease renewal with a national restaurant chain last week, and I remembered every single clause. "I'm not showing signs of anything," I said. "Who told you that?" "Dr. Patterson," my mother said quietly. She still wouldn't look at me. "He said the symptoms are consistent with early cognitive decline." I had never seen a Dr. Patterson in my life. "I don't know any Dr. Patterson. He's a geriatric specialist," Brittany said smoothly. "Ronald took Mom to see him last month. He reviewed her symptoms and gave us his assessment." "Her symptoms?" They were talking about me like I wasn't standing right there. I looked at my mother. She was 79, but her mind was sharp as ever. She had always favored Ronald. He was the baby, the son, the one who could do no wrong. I was the difficult one, the one who didn't get married until I was 32. The one who got divorced at 40 and didn't apologize for it. The one who built a business instead of building a family. "Mom," I said, "what is this?" She finally looked at me, and her eyes were watery. "Helen, honey, I don't want to see you lose everything you worked for. Let Kevin take over for a while, just until you're feeling better. Take over." There it was. I walked to the desk and picked up one of the documents. Power of attorney. Durable power of attorney, giving Kevin full authority over my financial affairs. I flipped to the next page. A petition for conservatorship. The next page, an affidavit from Dr. Lawrence Patterson, claiming he had examined me and determined I was suffering from moderate cognitive impairment. I had never met this man. I had never been examined. This document was a lie. I set the papers down carefully. My hands weren't shaking. My voice was steady. I had negotiated with bankers who tried to cheat me. I had fired contractors who stole from me. I had survived a husband who left me for his secretary and tried to take half of everything I had built. I wasn't going to let my own family see me break. "I'm not signing anything," I said. Kevin stood up. "Mom, you're not thinking clearly. That's exactly what we're worried about. You're being defensive and paranoid. These are classic symptoms. I'm being realistic. You want control of my money. That's what this is about." Brittany laughed. Actually laughed. "Helen," she said, "that's ridiculous. We're trying to protect you. You have so much to manage. The properties, the investments, the foundation. It's too much for one person your age." My age. I was 67.
I went to the gym
4 times a week.
Sitting on the porch,
I had just passed my annual physical with perfect numbers.
About everything
my
that
doctor had told me I had the cardiovascular health of a woman 20 years younger. "Get out," I said quietly. "Mom," Kevin started. "Get out of my house. All of you. Now." Ronald stepped forward. "Helen, please. Let's talk about this like adults." "I'm talking like an adult. I'm telling you to leave my property. If you don't, I'll call the police." The room went silent. Brittany's smile finally faltered. Kevin's face flushed red. My mother started crying softly in the corner. "You're making a mistake," Kevin said. "We're trying to help you before it's too late, before you do something stupid and lose everything." I walked to my study door and held it open. I didn't say another word. I just stood there and waited. One by one, they filed out. Kevin went first, grabbing the documents off my desk on his way. Brittany followed, her heels clicking on my hardwood floors. Ronald paused in front of me like he wanted to say something, but I just looked at him until he dropped his eyes and kept walking. My mother was last. She stopped and put her hand on my arm. "I'm doing this because I love you," she said. "No," I said. "You're doing this because Ronald asked you to." She pulled her hand back like I had burned her. Then she walked out, and I closed the door behind her. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in my study and thought about the past 6 months. It had started small, Brittany calling more often, asking about my health, suggesting I see a doctor, Kevin offering to help me with my taxes, something he had never shown interest in before. Ronald taking my mother to appointments I wasn't told about. Little things, things that seemed caring on the surface. But I had been in business for 41 years. I knew when something didn't add up. 3 months ago, I had noticed a login attempt on my investment account from an IP address I didn't recognize. I traced it to Houston. Kevin and Brittany lived in Houston. I changed all my passwords that night and set up alerts for any unusual activity. A week later, I found out that Ronald had been asking my property managers questions. How much did the buildings bring in? What were the maintenance costs? Did Helen ever seem confused when she talked to them? He told them he was just curious. They told me because I paid them to be loyal. I started keeping records. Every conversation, every suspicious question, every time someone brought up my health or my memory or my ability to manage my affairs. I had a folder in my safe with printouts, recordings, notes. I was careful. I was thorough. I had built my business by being 10 steps ahead of everyone else, and I wasn't going to stop now. But I hadn't expected them to move this fast. A fake psychiatric evaluation, a conservatorship petition. They were serious. They wanted control of everything, and they wanted it soon. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Evelyn Chen had been my attorney for 20 years. She had handled my divorce, my contracts, my estate planning. She was the only person outside my accountant who knew exactly what I was worth. "Helen," she said when she answered, "I was about to call you. Someone filed a petition for conservatorship in Dallas County yesterday. They're claiming you're mentally incapacitated." "I know. They were at my house last night. My son, his wife, my brother, and my mother. All of them?" "All of them." She was quiet for a moment. "What do you want to do?" "I want to fight. And I want to win." The next 3 weeks were the hardest of my life, not because I was scared, because I was angry. I was angry that my own son had looked me in the eye and lied. I was angry that my brother had used my mother as a pawn. I was angry that Brittany had smiled at me like I was already gone, like I was just an obstacle between her and my money. But anger is useful if you know how to channel it, and I had been channeling it my entire career. Evelyn assembled a team. A private investigator named Marcus, who specialized in financial fraud. A forensic accountant who could trace money through shell companies. A psychiatrist, a real one, who examined me and certified in writing that I showed no signs of cognitive impairment whatsoever. Marcus found the dirt first. Kevin and Brittany were drowning in debt. They had refinanced their house twice. They owed nearly $200,000 on credit cards. Brittany's interior design business had failed last year, and they had been living off Kevin's salary as a regional sales manager for a medical supply company. His salary wasn't enough. Not even close. Ronald was worse. His wife had divorced him 5 years ago and taken most of his retirement savings. He had been borrowing money from our mother for years.
Welcome back to the
show. She had given him over $60,000 in the past 18 months alone, and he had convinced her not to tell me about it. And my mother. She wasn't broke, but she wasn't far from it. She had a fixed income from my father's pension, and Ronald had been draining it steadily. If I had died or become incapacitated, my will left everything to a charitable foundation. Not a dollar for Kevin, not a dollar for Ronald. They knew this. They had probably found out somehow. And they had decided to take what they wanted before it was too late. The forensic accountant found something else. 3 weeks before the conservatorship petition was filed, someone had created a fake LLC with a name very similar to one of my legitimate companies. The registration paperwork had been filed in Delaware. The registered agent was a company that specialized in anonymous business formations. But Marcus was good at his job. He traced the paperwork back to an email account. The email account belonged to Brittany. They weren't just trying to take control of my money. They were planning to move it, to steal it, to hide it somewhere I could never find it. I had spent 41 years building something from nothing, and they wanted to take it in an afternoon. The hearing was scheduled for April 14th. I arrived at the courthouse in Dallas wearing a navy blazer and my grandmother's pearl earrings. I had a leather briefcase with every document I needed. Evelyn walked beside me. Marcus sat in the gallery. I was ready. Kevin and Brittany were already there. They had a lawyer, a man in an expensive suit who smiled too much. Ronald sat behind them. My mother wasn't there. She had called me 2 days before, crying, saying she couldn't go through with it, saying she was sorry. I had listened. Then I had hung up without saying a word. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Patricia Hartwell. She had gray hair pulled back in a bun and reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked like someone's grandmother. She looked like someone who didn't suffer fools. She read through the petition. She read through the affidavit from Dr. Patterson. Then she looked at Kevin's lawyer. "Counsel," she said, "where is Dr. Patterson?" "He was unable to attend, Your Honor. He submitted his evaluation in writing." "I see." Judge Hartwell turned to me. "Miss Ashford, I understand you're contesting this petition." "I am, Your Honor." "Do you have evidence to present?" "I have quite a lot, actually." I stood up. Evelyn handed me a tablet. I had prepared a presentation, not because I was trying to be dramatic, but because I knew judges liked evidence they could see. I connected the tablet to the courtroom's display screen. "Your Honor," I began, "I'm 67 years old. I have managed a commercial real estate portfolio worth over $40 million for the past 3 decades. I serve on 4 nonprofit boards. I just renewed a 10-year lease with a Fortune 500 company last month. I am not incapacitated." I clicked to the first slide. "This is a cognitive assessment I completed last week with Dr. Rebecca Morrison, a board-certified neurologist at UT Southwestern. She found no evidence of cognitive decline. Her full report is in your packet." I clicked to the next slide. "This is a letter from my accountant, confirming that I have managed my own finances for 41 years without incident. This is a letter from my property management company, confirming that I conduct monthly reviews of all my properties and have never shown any confusion. This is a letter from the chairman of the Peterson Foundation, confirming that I lead board meetings with clarity and competence." I clicked again. "And this is Dr. Lawrence Patterson." A photo appeared on the screen. A man in his 50s with a receding hairline and glasses. "I have never met this man," I said. I have never been examined by this man. I have never set foot in his office. His affidavit claims he conducted a 2-hour evaluation of me on March 3rd. On March 3rd, I was in Phoenix, Arizona, attending a real estate conference. Here is my hotel receipt. Here is my conference badge. Here is a photo of me at the keynote dinner that evening. The courtroom was silent. Kevin's lawyer had stopped smiling. But I wasn't finished. Your Honor, I said, I'd like to show you something else. I clicked to the next slide.
Today,
it was a
I want to
video.
share a story
I had recorded
about a
it myself,
that
sitting in my
completely
study,
changed my
speaking directly
perspective.
to the camera. But that wasn't the video I played. This recording, I said, was captured by a security camera in my home on March 28th. The screen showed my study. Kevin and Brittany were sitting at my desk. Ronald was pacing by the window. How long before the hearing? Ronald asked. 3 weeks, Kevin said. We just need to keep her away from her lawyers until then. What if she fights it? She's 67, Brittany said. Who's going to believe her? Her own family says she's losing her mind. That's all the court needs. Once we get the conservatorship, Ronald said. How fast can we move the money? Fast, Brittany said. I've already set up the accounts. We transfer everything to the LLC, sell the properties, and distribute it before anyone knows what happened. By the time she figures out what's going on, if she ever does, we'll be long gone. What about Mom? Kevin asked. He met my mother. What do we tell her? We tell her Helen's being taken care of, Ronald said. She doesn't need to know the details. She just needs to keep signing whatever we put in front of her. Brittany smiled. It was the same smile she had given me in my study that night. By this time next year, we'll be set, all of us. And Helen will be in a nursing home somewhere, wondering what happened to her money. I stopped the video. The courtroom was completely silent. Kevin's face had gone white. Brittany was staring at the screen like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Ronald had his head in his hands. I turned to face the judge. Your Honor, I said, my family has been planning this for months. They created a fake psychiatric evaluation. They attempted to access my financial accounts. They formed a shell company to move my assets. They conspired to have me declared incompetent so they could steal everything I've spent my life building. I paused. I'm not confused. I'm not incapacitated. I'm a woman with resources, and they saw me as an opportunity. Judge Hartwell took off her glasses. She looked at Kevin's lawyer. Counsel, she said. Do you have anything to say? He didn't. He couldn't. The petition is denied, Judge Hartwell said. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for investigation of fraud, conspiracy, and attempted elder abuse. She looked directly at Kevin. Mr. Ashford, I strongly suggest you retain criminal defense counsel. The aftermath was swift. Kevin and Brittany were arrested 2 weeks later. The charges were elder abuse, conspiracy to commit fraud, and attempted theft. Dr. Patterson was also arrested. Under questioning, he admitted that he had never examined me. He said Ronald had offered him $10,000 to sign the affidavit. He lost his medical license. He would likely lose his freedom, too. Ronald was charged as an accomplice. He pleaded guilty to avoid a trial. He got 3 years probation and 200 hours of community service. He also lost his job. No one wants to hire a man who tried to steal his sister's fortune. My mother called me from Ronald's house. She was living there now because she had given him so much money that she couldn't afford her own apartment. Helen, she said, I never wanted this to happen. I thought I was helping you. I thought you needed us. You thought I was weak, I said. You thought I couldn't take care of myself. You've always thought that, ever since I was a child. That's not true. It is true. You never believed I could build something on my own. You always thought I needed someone to take care of me. A husband, a son, a man to make the decisions. And when I proved you wrong over and over, you still couldn't accept it. She was crying. I could hear it through the phone. I'm 79 years old, she said. I don't have much time left. Please, Helen, don't let me die knowing you hate me. I don't hate you, I said, but I don't trust you, and I don't think I ever will again. I hung up. It was the last time we spoke. Kevin got 4 years. He'll be out in 2.5 with good behavior. Brittany got 3 years. She sent me a letter from prison, saying she was sorry, saying she had been desperate, saying she hoped I could forgive her someday. I didn't respond. I'm sitting on my porch now. It's October. The Texas sun is setting behind the oak trees, and the air is finally starting to cool. I have a glass of sweet tea and a book I've been meaning to read for months. I changed my will. Everything goes to the foundation now. Scholarships for kids who grew up poor in small towns. Kids who want to build something from nothing like I did. Not a dollar for Kevin. Not a dollar for Ronald. People ask me if I'm lonely. They see a 67-year-old woman living alone in a big house, no children visiting on holidays, no family dinners on Sunday. They feel sorry for me. I don't need their pity. I have friends who actually care about me. I have colleagues who respect what I've built. I have a foundation that will help thousands of young people long after I'm gone. I also started something new. A legal aid program for seniors facing financial abuse from their own families. It's called the Ashford Initiative. We've helped 23 people in the past 6 months. 23 people whose children or siblings or grandchildren tried to take everything from them. 23 people who thought they were alone. They weren't alone. And neither am I. Kevin called me from prison last month. The recording said I could accept the call by pressing 1. I let it ring until the line went dead. He left a message through his lawyer. He said he was sorry. He said Brittany had pushed him into it. He said he never meant for things to go so far. That's always the excuse, isn't it? I never meant for it to go this far. I was just desperate. I was just scared. I was desperate once too. I was 26 years old with nothing but a dream and a loan I could barely afford. I was scared every single day for years, but I never stole from anyone. I never lied to anyone. I never looked at someone I loved and saw a bank account instead of a human being. I spent 41 years building something real. I did it with my own hands, my own mind, my own will, and no one can take that from me now. My mother died 3 months later. Complications from pneumonia, the doctors said. Ronald called to tell me about the funeral. I didn't go. Some people think that makes me cold. Some people think I should have forgiven her. She was my mother, after all. She was old. She was manipulated. But I remember standing in my own study, looking at legal documents designed to take away my freedom, my money, my life, and I remember my mother sitting in the corner, not meeting my eyes, letting it happen. Love is not enough. Loyalty is not guaranteed by blood. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people who were supposed to protect you but chose to hurt you instead. I've always been good with buildings, foundations, structures, load-bearing walls. I know how to tell if something is solid enough to last or if it's rotting from the inside out. Some buildings can be saved. Some can't. Some families can be saved too. Mine couldn't. And I've made my peace with that.